My wife cheated on me with our house help, and none of our 3 kids were mine. I gathered evidence, divorced her, and made sure he was deported. Hello Reddit I plus here. You ever hear a story so messed up that even you don't believe it, even though you lived it? That's how I feel every time I tell people what happened to me. This isn't some exaggerated tale or something out of a movie. It's my life. And trust me, I wish it wasn't. I was married to Melissa for almost 10 years. We had 3 kids, James, Olivia, and little Eli. I thought we had a solid life. We weren't rich, but we weren't struggling either. I worked my ass off, made sure my family had a roof over their heads, food on the table, and everything they needed. And in return, I thought I had a faithful, loving wife. I thought my kids were mine. But life has a way of showing you just how naive you really are. It all started with small things. Melissa started acting distant. She wasn't as affectionate, wasn't as interested in spending time with me. At first, I chalked it up to stress. Being a mom to 3 kids is exhausting, and I figured maybe she was just overwhelmed. But then, there were other signs. She started locking her phone. She'd get defensive when I asked about her day. And the biggest red flag? Our house help, Marco. Marco was a 28-year-old guy from overseas. I hired him because Melissa said she needed extra help around the house, and he came highly recommended by one of her friends. At first, I had no reason to be suspicious. He was polite, hardworking, and always kept his head down. But as time went on, I noticed things that didn't sit right with me. The way he looked at Melissa. The way she laughed a little too hard at his jokes. How he was always around even when I knew he wasn't scheduled to work. One night, I got home early from work. The house was quiet, and I figured everyone was either asleep or out. But then, I heard voices coming from our bedroom. My bedroom. I didn't want to believe it, but deep down, I knew what I was about to walk in on. I pushed the door open, and there they were. Melissa and Marco. My wife. In our bed. With the damn house help. She screamed, he panicked, and I just stood there, staring. You ever feel so betrayed that you can't even react? That was me. I didn't yell. I didn't throw punches. I just walked out. That was the moment I knew my marriage was over. But the worst part? That wasn't even the biggest betrayal. After that night, I decided to dig deeper. I wasn't just going to let her cheat on me and walk away like nothing happened. So, I started gathering evidence. I checked phone records, messages, receipts, everything I could get my hands on. And that's when I found out the truth that shattered whatever was left of my heart. None of our 3 kids were mine. Not one. DNA tests confirmed it. I was raising another man's children for years, thinking they were my own. And the kicker? Marco wasn't even the father. She had been cheating on me for years, with multiple men. Marco was just the latest in a long line of betrayals. At that point, I had 2 choices. I could break down and let this destroy me, or I could get my revenge. And trust me, I chose revenge. I took everything to my lawyer. Every message, every bank transfer, every hotel receipt. I filed for divorce immediately and made sure Melissa got nothing. No alimony, no house, nothing. Since none of the kids were biologically mine, I wasn't on the hook for child support either. She lost everything. And Marco? Oh, I made sure he paid too. See, Marco was in the country on a work visa. And guess who had connections at immigration? I made a few calls, pulled some strings, and before he knew what was happening, Marco was in handcuffs. Turns out, he had overstayed his visa, and with the right push, I had him deported within a month. Melissa tried to beg me to stay. She swore she loved me, that she made a mistake, that we could fix things. But I was done. You don't come back from betrayal like that. The day I left, I didn't look back. It took time, but I rebuilt my life. I found peace knowing I got the last word. And as for Melissa, last I heard she was struggling. No house, no financial support, and no one to bail her out. Some might say I was ruthless. Maybe I was. But when someone destroys your life like that, you don't just walk away. You make damn sure they feel every ounce of pain they put you through. And trust me, Melissa felt it. Months passed, and I focused on moving forward. Therapy helped. Surrounding myself with true friends helped. But I'd be lying if I said it didn't still haunt me sometimes. The betrayal, the lies, it changes a person. One day I got a message from an unknown number. It was Melissa. She wanted to talk. Against my better judgment, I met her at a coffee shop. She looked terrible, disheveled, tired, like the weight of her choices had finally hit her. She apologized. Told me she had no excuse, that she was selfish and ruined everything, that she missed me. I looked her in the eye and said, Melissa, the person you miss never existed. You never loved me. You loved what I gave you. And that's gone now. Goodbye. And with that, I walked away for the last time. I may have lost years of my life to a lie, but I gained something better: freedom. And I'd never let anyone take that from me again.